This is my story. Pietronella Westelina Snoek. I was born in Holland, in Utrecht. One of 10 children. Father worked for the railroad. She passed away just after birth. She had kidney trouble. And then water came around her heart and it cannot around her heart. And so father was 39 years old, left with 10 children. 3 older sisters, and then 3 boys, and then 4 sisters. It's nice to have a big family. You always have somebody around you. I remember that father came upstairs in the bedrooms and he said it was 3 o'clock. We heard the planes come over and the sirens went, and the father said, "You have to come downstairs because we're at war." So we all had downstairs shivering, of course, we were cold. But the father wanted us all to be together. Then you hear that they were throwing bombs in Rotterdam and then you heard planes coming over. I mean, war was something terrible in your mind already. So it was an anxious time, even when you didn't understand it too well. Later on, during the war, we had to send in the radios. They want our bicycle tires. We got wooden tires on the wheels. And yeah, it was just so many changes, and then there was no bread available, and you got coupons that you had 1 loaf of bread, say, for 2 days. I slept with my older sister in one bed, and then one night we heard the planes, and all of a sudden the room was lit up, that there was a plane was shot, and it was burning, and it came burning over the house, and we were holding our breath because we thought it would come in our house. But it came past. But I mean, that was the scariest moment. Father had cut out a square in the floor in the front room, and then whenever the soldiers came to pick up the young man, then father crawled under the house and until they were gone. And then we changed his identification card, that he was older. Yeah, that was a scary moment, but I mean, it was the best way. Before the war was over, we ate andijf for 2 days, boiled in water. That was all what we had. No bread, nothing anymore, just andijf and water. So you still had a tummy full with liquid, but I mean, still, there was no vitamins in it or whatever, when you come to think of it now. Yeah, father did games with us in the evening, and yeah, we were sat around the table. Saturday mornings we had free traveling by train because father working for the railway. And then there was a Jewish market in Amsterdam, Sunday mornings. And then we all got a turn to go with father once in a while. And then we could spend 10 cents, buy a brooch or something. Oh, I had to peel potatoes. Before I went to bed, I had to peel of potatoes. That was my thing. And knitted socks for father. I had to do so many rows every day when I came off school. And when strawberry time was, father always went to the garden early in the morning, Sunday mornings, picked the first strawberries, and then when we came out of bed, on the table there was a rusk for all of us with strawberries put on with a little bit of sugar, and that was, oh, was that ever a treat. Yeah, I mean, those are really things you won't forget. Well, he was a neighbor across the street. I went first out with his brother because he was in Germany. So he was 2.5 years in Bremen, and then with his brother it was just more friendship, and we went to dancing, and And then when Jay came home from Germany, then he asked me out one evening. Then I said, oh, I don't know. So I worked for a lady that time, elderly lady. And I mentioned to her, she said, oh, give it a chance, Nell. Give it a chance. Don't say no right away. So then after a few times that we walked, that's all what you did was walking around the blocks or go through the park for a few hours or something, you know. But in summer evening, because we were at home, you were never alone. There was all the family around because all what you had is the big room with the table and chairs. And everybody was sitting there, so I mean, there was never really a private moment in those days. You touch each other's legs under the table. That was the love affair in those days. And then after we were married, we rented an attic. Herma, who's now 64. I can't believe it, but it's true. Yeah. And then 21 months after that, Jerry was born. I would love to have 2 children in 1 year, but it didn't come, so I had to wait longer. Yeah, that was really something. Then we wrote my sister and her husband here in Canada and asked if they could sponsor us. Then we would go to Canada, and they did. So it was a big step. I remember the 2 days before we left, and I laid in bed and I thought, do you do the right thing? Do we do the right thing? But yeah, then Jake had so much trouble to find a job. He was home for 8 months, and they told us already that maybe the woman had to work. So we didn't know English, so I started housework, and I started with 1 on Mondays, and by Friday I had 5. So we could buy the groceries and pay the rent, because we had no income, of course. And so we had we could spend $10 for groceries. So, and then we had bags full with groceries. A dozen eggs in those days was 39 cents. Loaf of bread was 11 cents, because you bought day-old bread was 11 cents. The lady where I started on Monday, her husband bought an apartment. And he came over and he said, would you like to look after the apartment? So, I mean, there was a job for both of us. It was in Westminster. So then when the consul asked us, he said, you still want to go on with this? I said, no, it is meant to be that we'll be here because all of a sudden my husband has a job. Well, when I wrote to Holland, and I said, no, now we better stay here. And then he passed away from the apartment, yeah. We were married 27 years, so I was 53. But the girls were married, both of them already. So it was just me alone. We both were elders in the church, and we both went house visitation every 2 weeks. We went to somebody's house, and he was widowed too. And then after 2 years, he said, why don't we marry and be together? Yeah, so we were married for 6 years. He was a baker, and he had flour in his lungs from the breathing of the flour. So he had trouble with breathing on the end. And he had a heart attack, and yeah, so that didn't last very long. And then I was alone for about 7 years, 6, 7 years, and then there was a dance in the Legion. My sister and her husband went to the Legion for supper and dance for seniors. And they said one evening, well, don't you come along with us? And I said, I don't know. They said, oh, come on, to meet people. And then I met Peter. He phoned my sister and he said, can you talk to her, to your sister, because I want to take her out for dinner. I said, I don't know. So they said, why don't you? Just say yes for one evening. And then we went to the Kerk in Westminster, and it seems we had so much in common. He came from Rotterdam, and we talked so much with each other that I hope to see you again. I said, yeah, I hope so too. And that's how it started. And so what became later my daughter-in-law, she arranged everything in Honolulu, and so we got married there when we were there. Yeah, we had a good life. Yeah, we really did. So we were married about 20 years, yeah. Of course, I remember when Peter passed away, and I joined a senior group at Trout Lake, and then it felt so good to be with people my own age. I love to volunteer and share my life with others. Yeah, I love to be among people. I love to be by myself too in the evening, sit and knit or read or watch a movie. I started when I was 8 and I loved it right away. I'm knitting ever since. What I love most about knitting is to knit for others. We're not brought up very fussy. We brought up very independent. But I mean, because not so long ago I fell, and then I thought, yeah, I can push the button. I thought, no, I have to get up by myself. Took me about an hour, but I did. And I thought, see, when I laid in bed, I thought, see, I still can do it. I crawled some places, but I mean, tried to get up, but I made it. No, I don't use anything. No, I'm not using any makeup. No. Comes from the inside. Just be happy and think positive. Little things don't bother me. And I feel what you put in, you receive. And enjoy every day. I mean, that's the best way. Yeah. Because life is good. And this is the end of my story. Ik wens jullie allemaal gezondheid.